ang Best Public Affairs Program. And the star goes to Open for Business Net 25.
It is a signal to the world that we are open for business.
We are now open for business. This is Cesar Vallejos bringing you yet another episode to guide you in discovering your passion and growing your business as we learn from experts in the field. Sama-sama tayong matuto sa isa na namang makabuluhang usapan tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng inyong negosyo. Ang Open for Business ay mapapanood nyo rin sa Facebook at YouTube. Siguraduhin na rin mag-like at mag-subscribe sa aming social media page at Net25TV. Ating alamin at suriin mula sa mga negosyante, thought leaders at mga personalidad sa iba't ibang larangan ang mga strategies, trends at mahalagang karanasan sa pagninegosyo dahil tayo ay open for business. As an archipelago, the maritime industry in the Philippines is very significant. It is almost second nature for our country to have seafarers and shipbuilders as a thriving profession. How much support and recognition does the maritime industry get? What are the issues surrounding this sector? What is the future for our seafarers and shipbuilders alike? On this episode, we are sailing full steam ahead.
In that case, kailangan na nating i-declare na bankrupt tayo.
Bankruptcy? Oh no! Delikado ang kumpanya nila, Chan. At kahit may mag-offer na tulong, Sir Fabri?
Kumusta, Sanem? Kanina ba kita hinahanap? Babayaran ko kung ano man pinagkakautangan nyo. Pero syempre, may kapalit yun.
Kaya ba ng pride ni Chan na makipagtrabaho sa taong wala siyang tiwala?
I think konting oras pa, ang perfume na yon, ibibigay din niya sa akin.
Daydreamer. Monday to Friday, 7:30 p.m. Dito lang sa Net25.
Siguradong kaya nating sirain si Chairman kung makokontrol natin si Jiangmi.
May hangganan ng pagtitiis.
Diyan doyon, wawasakin kita bago mo pa ako mawasak ng tuluyan.
At mapanganib ang mga desperado. Ang inosente nga ba ang may ipit dahil sa kasalanan ng iba? Mysterious Personal Shopper. Monday to Friday, dito sa Net25.
Yan po mga kaibigan ang ating mga balitang nagaganap dito po sa aking kinaroroonan. Abangan na lamang ang susunog. Susunog? Bakit susunog? Diba dapat susunod?
Susunog?
Ha?
Susunog kasi! May nasusunog! Nasusunog ang goodwill!
Nasusunog? Ha? Nasusunog? Teka muna, sandali lang. Nagbabaga mga balita. Ang nagaganap ngayon dito sa ating kinaroroonan. Bakit? Anong nangyayari?
Nasusunog ang goodwill!
Nasusunog? Ha?
Attorney, doon daw sa kusina nagsimula! Hindi, nasusunog! Sa swimming pool! Sa swimming pool! Ano sa swimming pool? Paano mangyayari sa swimming pool?
Teka muna, sandali lang! Chichinelasin ko kayong lahat. Ano ang pinangyarihan ng sunog? Saan ang galing? Sino nagsunog? Yan po ang malalaman natin mga kasagutan sa Season 2 ng Goodwill.
Halika na! Baka doon sa kusina!
With Open for Business is Ms. Rachel Lopez, the President and CEO of the Worldwide Maritime Operations Company Group of Companies. Ms. Rachel, we've seen that there's a lot of participants, both local and foreign representatives. How do you assess the event so far?
After of how many months of preparations, coordinations, brainstorming, talagang finally, ito na. And sobra kaming natutuwa ng husband ko na we were able to pull it off talaga, and with the support of the maritime industry, and not only the maritime industry but also different flags states. They just flew here just to attend the 2-day conference. So it's a very big thing for us talaga. Kaya sobrang masayang-masaya kami kasi talagang this event was a success talaga.
We're so really proud of the role of Filipino seafarers in the respective countries. How many are attending from the outside, from other nations, and how many are the local representatives?
Actually, estimated for the local around 3,000 per day. And based on our stat, we have all the higher officials of different countries like Panama, Marshall, Liberia, Singapore. With some of the embassies are here also. So, hindi pa kasama yun. So, we're very happy kasi nakita nila talaga kung ano yung gusto naming iparating, kung bakit namin ginawa tong convention na to. So, I know and I believe that it will open the communication from the maritime sector and to the government and to other stakeholders talaga na there will be a hope at magkakaroon tayo ng much more better maritime industry.
What are the major issues of the maritime industry that you think will be addressed by this gathering?
Actually, one of the problem that we are facing is the standardization of the train, which is the threat about EMSA for the Filipino seafarers. So, basically, we have 50,000 officers that might losing their job if ever that we're not going to pass EMSA. So, syempre, ayaw natin mangyari yan. We believe and we are very positive na malalagpasan natin. But, of course, dapat meron din tayong plan B. Na what if, di ba? So, yun ang dapat nating paghandaan.
So once we do not pass that EMSA, you said there's going to be about 50,000 seafarers who will lose their jobs. And you mentioned you mentioned about Plan B. Any ideas on that Plan B na naiisip ng gathering na ito?
Actually, marami. Kasi unang-una, we have to start from the bottom talaga. It's not easy. Marami tayong dapat pag-aralan, basuhin, di ba, na kailangan natin ng panibagong criteria o panibagong pamantayan, especially for the training of our seafarers. So yun, para at least makakompete tayo. Kasi number 1 provider ang Philippines for the Filipino for different flag states and different vessels, no? Number 1 ang Filipino. Ilan libo ang nakadeploy na Filipino seafarers globally. So imaginein mo, we are the number 1, di ba? Staffing ng seafarers, Pilipinas. So, syempre parang computer lang yan eh. Di ba, yearly nag-a-update. Parang si Apple, si Mac, di ba, nag-a-update. So, ganun din ang seafarers natin. So, kailangan we have to follow. We have to nurture them. Pero not to the point na sobrang dami, na to the point na hindi naman talaga kailangan. Ito ang dapat natin tutukan. Kasi marami ang pwedeng makatulong sila ng malaki sa industriya natin sa Pilipinas. So, yun lang yung naman yung ating mga hinihiling, nilalabi, kumbaga. But we suggest talaga na to have a very serious dialogue between the stakeholders and the government na talagang responsible for it, na talagang matutulungan ang industriya. Kasi by then, naniniwala ako putting this event will open a lot of doors. Ito na yung simula eh. So, kailangan, di ba, we done our part. So, kailangan na lang natin i-channel yan sa mga tamang tao. So, yun lang naman. Yun lang ang gusto natin. But, we are always concerned about the welfare of the Filipino seafarers. Kahit ako and my husband, malapit sa puso ko yan kasi dyan ako nagsimula. So, I really value and honor them kung what are the things they bring to the country. Kaya sabi ko, napaka-importante na mabigyan natin sila ng maganda at maayos na pagtatrabaho nila sa dagat, di ba?
Yes. With the seafarers addressing several markets, who is the biggest market of Filipino seafarers in the world? And are they here as well?
Actually, some of the, like the cruise line, no? Majority of the Filipino seafarers are being working in a large cruise line. Nandito rin sila. We have V-Ship, we have Magsaysay, we have NYK. So itong mga to, talagang they're very serious in getting Filipino and they love Filipinos. So kailangan talaga na mas mapaunlad, lalo ngayon this year, nakafocus ang ating government in employing a lot of Filipino seafarers for cruise line. And I believe
Just the other day, I think the DOT secretary welcomed, diba, a cruise line and the several tourists here.
Actually, Undersecretary Sarmiento just flew back from Taiwan. They had this MOA agreement.
I see.
Yes. Gusto naming ibigay ito para sa mga Filipino seafarers natin na huwag silang mawawala ng pag-asa. Kasi andito kami, magtutulong-tulong kami lahat sa industriya para mapaganda ang posisyon natin.
Wow.
Maposisyon ng mga beloved seafarers natin.
Engineer, you presented a comprehensive global position of the maritime industry here in the Philippines. And can you somehow briefly describe this wonderful positioning of the Philippines in the world?
Yeah. Okay, so actually the shipbuilding and ship repair industry of the Philippines has a bright future, actually, although there are challenges that we need to address. First, we have sustained our top position, one of the top positions as shipbuilding nations in the world after China, Korea, and Japan. We have actually also enticed some foreign investors to tie up with other local shipyards in the Philippines to locate their shipyards here. We have a proposal to pass, of course, a bill that will develop the shipbuilding industry, that will include, among others, the incentives for the SBSR industry. Well, of course, we want also to modernize and upgrade the facilities of the SBSR or the shipyards in the Philippines. And of course, incentives also for green shipyards and green ships, for producing green shipyards and green ships. So, and a lot more under this proposed shipbuilding development act.
Engineer, one of the insights that I was getting was that, when we talk of seafarers, we have a lot. I think I saw in your data that's about 300, close to 300, 345,000. Oh, and then also, that is basically human resource. Pero pagdating daw sa shipbuilding naman, parang yung hardware natin, yun ang wala. Our infrastructure, everything related to shipbuilding, and they're being taken by other countries.
Other countries, like before the pandemic in 2019 and before Hanjin were bankrupt in 2019.
The one in Subic.
Okay. We have around 40,000 shipyard workers across the nations. And most of this are employed by Hanjin, the biggest shipyard, foreign shipyard locator here in the Philippines.
And what happened to that 40,000?
So 40,000 now. After the pandemic, it's 18,000 shipyard
workers.
Yeah, across the nations. Now, of course, aside from the bankruptcy of Hanjin, pandemic also. Yeah.
So, pag ganun, sir, what other opportunities can they have? Are you looking at, maybe because of the pandemic, things will get better and then they'll be, or were they already hired by the other shipbuilders?
We're positive that it will become better. And, of course, we are promoting our shipbuilding and ship repair, encouraging more foreign investors. Like, for instance, a French shipyard will be locating here in the Philippines and will be having a joint venture also with local Filipino shipyards in the Philippines. So this would be the start of regaining back the lost workforce in the shipbuilding, ship repair industry. Hopefully, we'll be more than 50,000 shipyard workers. And we will, reskill and upskill shipyard workers.
Tapos, engineer, what's the impact in terms of, di ba parang, do you have figures already how much is its contribution to GDP, mga ganyan? Or is it very minimal
that
yet?
That is what we're working with PSA, with Philippine Statistics Administration, to come up with the statistics of how much this industry is contributing to our economy.
So halimbawa kasi, kunyari, kung seaman ka, yung napupunta yung service mo, o kaya parang gano'n, o kaya yung remittance mo na lang, gano'n ba yan? So hindi talaga, it's not dissected or categorized in that sector.
Because right now, it's under manufacturing and it's not breakdown as shipyards. So we don't know exactly how much the shipbuilding is contributing, but we are actually collaborating with PSA and providing them the necessary data requirement that we need to know exactly how much the SBSR industry is contributing.
Pero yung manufacturing, malaki, di ba? Parang it has a huge contribution to, ano yung niya? Parang, you remember the figure?
I cannot.
But it's lumped under. But it's lumped under manufacturing.
Yeah, manufacturing.
Okay. Now, sir,
Maritime is they are in different sectors kasi it's distributed, and we want to have one maritime industry data that will know exactly that this is the amount.
Yes. Now, engineer, if there are 2 or 3 main issues na actionable items that you want this event to generate, what are those? Ano yung 2 issues that you want, or 3, or the most pressing issues that this gathering should address so that it can be somehow passed, maybe to our legislators kung sakali, para kumbaga there's a lot of, para there has to be action after this.
Yeah, of course, our concern is to have better SBSR, shipbuilding, ship repair industry. So the bill that we are proposing, which is the shipbuilding development, could probably boost
and what
the
are
industry.
the salient points of that?
Well, it includes everything: incentives, manpower, skills development, research and development, construction of naval floating assets, and government boats and vessels. Not only building of merchant ships that we are after, we are also considering building of our own naval fleet and government boats also.
What's your outlook? We know that you mentioned we just came from the pandemic, and somehow things are going back to normal because of the opening of the economies, not only in the Philippines but in different parts of the world. Do you see it growing? Do you see more ships to be produced here, repaired, or are we expecting more seafarers shipyard workers leaving the country and working somewhere else?
Yeah, as a maritime nation, as what I've said, we'll have a big potential and opportunity also here in our country. And after the pandemic, we have realized that we need to work together. That's why the first way forward there is to adopt a whole of nation approach. Government and private sector to collaborate in order to come up with a win-win solution to address the issues and concerns or the challenges of the industry.
That's amazing because it looks very foreign. It looks like the yachts that we see on mainstream television. How can you explain that?
Well, I think it's all down to the passion of the president. The president of Revere Road Yacht Design Construction is from Mariveles in Bataan, and he grew up with the love of yachts, and he has learned naval architecture through international companies. He's now here operating in the Philippines for the past 20 odd years, building yachts, building boats, building all sorts of marine-going craft.
What's the market here in the Philippines, and who are you catering to?
We're catering internationally. That's it. I mean, there's no boundaries, no limits. We can cater for overseas. What it is that we come up with the concept, the naval architect designer for you. We can put it through class, and we can put it through whatever flag you want. So therefore, you can have a boat built here in the Philippines, but you can have it registered in Panama, you can have it registered in Turks and Caicos, in Gibraltar, wherever in the world you wish to have it registered, you can have it registered there. So technically, as far as the Philippines is concerned, it's an export. Even though it's built here, it's an export.
In terms of the market that you address, where is the biggest demand for yachts?
Internationally, it could be either Europe or America. Even now in Asia, new economies coming and rising, we're finding a market here as well. It's constantly evolving and changing, of course. So we just cater to whoever does ask. We can do from the ground roots design up. We can do basic construction here for finishing abroad, whatever.
When you look at the designs, are these somehow customized, or are there standards also that you mass produce?
Every design to the customers or the clientele's prerequisites. On top of that, we also do international standards as well, like Marina, Lloyd's, whatever the classification side demands of us with regards to a matter of health and safety, solid safety of lives at sea, and MARPOL regulations. We can build to that standard as well.
So that's pretty tough because, of course, each country or each continent has specific standards and preferences. So how do you adjust to that in terms of design and production?
Well, we just have to keep on top of it all the time. These class societies are always changing the regulations almost, 2-3 times a year. We just keep on top of it. We correspond with these class societies and make sure that we're filling their needs. And of course, at the end of the day, it is their class surveyor that comes to us, has a look at what we've done, and they deem if it's fit for purpose or not. Furthermore, there is the flag state. They have their own surveyor. We're getting registered someplace abroad. They will send their surveyor in, have a look at what we've done, and they say, yes, it's fit for purpose. We can fly their flag. We can sail the yacht under their class and their standard. Well, to be absolutely honest, the reason why I came here in the first place 10 years ago was to get a boat built. And I was looking at all of Asia. And what actually saw me to the Philippines was, first of all and foremost, was that English is a second language here. So therefore it's very, very easy to communicate with people. Yes. And second of all, the people themselves. It was a home away from home as far as I was concerned. The first thing I'd done when I went back to the UK was book my holiday time to come back here again. And now I live here permanently. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I think it really is just the start of something great. It really is.
Captain, there's a lot of history between Philippines and Panama, and of course, in this industry that we're in, there's a strong connection already. So what do you see, and what's your reaction that here is a gathering. There's a lot of exhibitors, stakeholders who join together and are discussing various issues that affect the industry. What's your insight on that?
Yeah, this Expo Maritime Philippines, I think, is a good opportunity to get all together again. Let's say during the pandemic and the COVID, everybody was like separately and only in video conference, and it's good to come all together again to fly around the world and get the connections between flag state registered shipping owners, managing agencies, and especially the seafarers, because the seafarers demonstrated during the pandemic that there was a heart of the world, because the ship will not be able to move without the seafarers from all around the world.
And I understand you were giving us a data on how huge Filipino seafarers are. Can you give us an update on that?
Yes, we as #1 ship registry of the world, Panama, we have the manpower of Filipinos. They are very important for us. It represents more than 55% of our manpower on board. We have approximately over 350,000 seafarers on board our ships. This 55% is under Filipino seafarers.
And so far, why is that so? Why are you choosing Filipino seafarers over other nationalities?
Because #1 manpower on board the ships, no matter from which flag they are flying on their ships, are from Philippines. #1 is Philippines, Filipino crew. #2 is, I think, Russia. #3 is Indonesia. #4 is China. And #5 is India. So the #1 manpower on board the ships around the world are from Philippines.
So what do you think is the competitive advantage of Filipino seafarers? Is it the language? Is it the adaptability? Is it the skill?
Me as a seafarer for more than 12 years working on board ships, I've been working with Filipinos. Filipinos are very hard worker, noble people. They are knowledgeable. And what we see with the training centers that we are approved here in Philippines by the Panama Maritime Authority, they have good infrastructure, good instructors, good simulators. And especially the Filipinos are very hard workers. That's why most of the shipping owners, they want to choose a Filipino.
Wow, perfect. Thank you very much, sir. But before we finish this conversation, I'd like to ask, with the ending of the pandemic, although a lot of people are saying that the pandemic is still there, we still experience the impact of geopolitical events. What do you see is the future of the maritime industry, especially here in the Philippines? Are you here to open more opportunities, invite businesses, invite seafarers? What would be your concrete initiatives to help the industry?
As a #1 ship registry of the world with more than 8,600 ships under Panama flags, we need to keep going. The pandemic demonstrated that the maritime sector was, together with the seafarers, the heart of the world. The medicines, the goods, the people was moving on board ships. But ships are important, but more important are the seafarers because they are the ones who operate the ships.
Perfect. Sir, that's your camera, your message to the Filipino seafarers, and what is it that they would have to do so that they will continue, getting, exploring, and continuing their enhancement because right now we see that there are a lot of trainings. I see also a lot of students who have great potential to be great seafarers as well.
Keep studying, keep dreaming, and keep with the hard work. This is my message to the new generations that are the one who will replace the ones that are, let's say, getting older and retired. Keep the way that they are doing.
Thank you very much. Open for Business will be back. Stay tuned.
This program is presented by Pure Gold. Sa Pure Gold,
Sa Counterpoint, ano ba itong Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership? Anong may dudulot ng trade agreement na ito sa bansa? Makakasama ko si Department of Trade Industry Secretary Alfred Pascual. Lahat ng yan sa Counterpoint, Miyerkules alas 10:30 ng gabi dito sa Net 25.
Nandito ako para tulungan ka, Sir Fernando. Meron kasi akong nakuhang tulong eh.
At sino naman yan?
Kung may tao man dyan na kaya mag-magic ng ebidensya, siya yon, sir.
Sa kanyang pagbabalik,
At bakit nandito ka?
Gusto ko rin na malayo rito. Pero hindi ako papayag na isama mo ang lahat sa paglubog mo.
Lumayas ka.
Nakakaawa ka.
hustisya ba ang paglalabanan ng magkapatid?
Kapatid ko nga ba talaga yun? Hindi mo kami masisira.
Two sisters.
Actually, napakaganda po ng ginawa nila Ma'am Rachel at ni Sir Nolly. Dahil sa amin, even me, ay dream na maging marine po dati. Hanggang ngayon, marami pong mga estudyante sa amin ng mga marines. And siyempre po, yun nga, itong makakatulong po siya sa akin ng malaki dahil yung mga agencies na nandito, they can ask for yung job fair, mag-job fair tayo para makapag-create po ng job. And sa amin, marami po talaga mga graduates na mga Marines. So yun ang pwede sa bayan namin specifically dahil napakadami pong graduates. So ito yung magkakaroon sa akin ng mga kanina, marami na po ako nakuha mga business cards sa mga kaibigan natin sa loob. So tuwan-tuwa po ako dahil sabi nila mag-recruit ka ng mga even nurse, doctor, marine, mga Japanese speaking, mga ganon. So yun po yung siguro may open up nitong mga ganitong klaseng mga Expo dahil po napakaganda ng ginawa niya. Even this is the first time pero parang hindi first time po. Ang ganda po na nangyari.
Magagawa niya ng mga babae ang po pwedeng gawin ng mga lalaki, especially po sa mga seafarer. So usually, yung mga nandoon naman po sa mga barko, hindi lang naman palalaking trabaho. May mga cook, chef na, may mga welders na nga po,
Yes.
na mga babae po ngayon. So yun po, at least sa isang pamilya, nagkakatulungan ngayon ang mag-asawa. So mas malaki po yung opportunity sa mga ganun, katulad ng mga ganitong expo po sa atin.
So largest seafarers nation by far Philippines, excellent nation, a lot of potentials. I think the events have been fantastic in a way that we start with I would say political statement and political will with discussion about what legally and from an institutional and legal perspective we can develop or can Philippines develop. Discussing with other basically flag states and so on, and a discussion all the way to very technical implementation of international conventions, so flag states and port states. It was very, from my side, it was very instructive as well. So I think the main, one of the main message I personally got from the conference was a desire from the maritime industry in the Philippines to collate capacity and use the strengths existing already to develop Philippines more than just a seafarer nation, but also a shipping nation. So having your own vessel, your stronger flag states and so on. I don't work with seafarer every day. We are an inspection company, right? But we work on vessels and we always come across necessarily a crew from the Philippines. But we have activities in the Philippines. SGS, we have big laboratories and inspection capabilities in the Philippines. Personally, I would say Philippines has all the hospitality and the very nice and flexible way of working, and you see that also when you work with people from Philippines all around the world. It's fantastic people to work with. So for sure, the part of the potential, I will say, of the seafaring already has been rolled out. There is for sure necessarily more to gain from this experience with seafarers to build locally a more maritime nation, for sure.
yung importance ng insurance sa mga ship owners, shipbuilders, lalong-lalo na sa maritime industry. Kasi ano ba ang purpose ng isang insurance? More on financial protection, peace of mind, na just in case na anything na may mga loss sa mga vessel nila o damage, merong insurance company that will shoulder yung mga ganyang financial crisis sa isang company. Yan ang importance ng isang insurance, lalong-lalo na sa isang maritime industry. Last 2020, still nag-increase pa ang income, ang growth ng company namin into 14 to 16% versus ng 2019. Lalong-lalo ng 2021, kasi syempre nagsimula ng magsibalikan ulit May increase, may growth ang isang insurance company. Hindi lang Stronghold, for sure, pati other insurance company.
If we expand our flag, like Panama, Liberia, Marshall, gaganda yung takbo ng ating maritime industry.
Kasi parang lumalabas, nahuhuli tayo. Or kung hindi mo nahuli, kulang sa suporta.
From 500 ships, it went down to 100 na ngayon. You know, when you...
Yun yung sinasabing nag-sign up or yung...
They left.
They
From
left.
500, they left. Remember that if one ship registered to the Philippines, the crew will be manned by Filipino seafarers. And then, if there is a repair on that ship, they will do the repair here in the shipyard of
yun ang ka-advantage niya kapag nag-sign up dito.
Yeah, right. So, employment ng Filipino seafarers, we make our shipbuilding, ship repair profitable. So, you generate employment, di ba? Even shipyard skilled people will be employed. So, tataas. So, we can do a lot of investment na kalakip nito. Una, for example, we can revive our iron and steel industry, di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi pag magawa ka ng barko, mag-repair ka ng barko, you need all this, So, ang daming ano. And then, while the ship is doing a repair sa Pilipinas, siyempre, yung mga logistics nila. So, example, if we have 3,000 ships, every 3 years, ship does a repair, di ba? So, 3,000. So, 1,000. So, 1,000 in 1 year, there are 1,000 ships that we will be repairing.
Malaki yan.
Malaki na may tutulong.
I see.
And then now, yung problema natin na OBT, yung mga kadete na dapat mag-do ng training aboard ship, makakatulong itong 3,000 ship na to, sakaling gano'n, di ba?
Parang pinaka-OJT na nila yun.
Right. So, a lot of our students cannot undergo onboard training. But if we expand it, makakatulong yan.
So, you think this event is really something productive?
Yes, because our legislators captured it. Gusto nilang, they will sponsor bill to expand our Philippine flag. Meron tayong bill pero antiquated na eh. Our bills were made 30 years, 40 years ago. Samantala yung mga top 5 countries that Panama, Liberia, Marshall.
Panama, Liberia, ano pa yung
Marshall Islands, Hong Kong, Singapore. They are very flexible. Binabago nila yung kanilang mga batas sa regulations.
Madaling na-adapt doon with the times.
So kunyari, nagbigay sila ng incentive. Sayo, dadaanan pa natin sa batas. Paggawa natin ng batas will take 2 years. So, instead na mag-stay sila, iwanan tayo.
So, nai-employ ngayon sa iba yung...
Kakapture ng ibang flag registry.
It's not just actually for seafarers, for ordinary Filipinos like all of us. The Philippines is a maritime and archipelagic country. We never realized that. Compared to our ASEAN neighbors, we have the longest coastline. Second, we have the biggest shipbuilding. We're the number 5 shipbuilding in the whole world. We're very happy that at this point, we have the PDP or the Philippine Development Plan of 2040. It's the medium development plan of President Marcos. We have the pagtanaw of the OST 2050. which highlights now the blue economy that the Philippines has. Kasi meron tayong green and blue economy. It's actually talking of the potentials of this country being a maritime and archipelagic nation with all the resources. No, napakalawak po. Of course, one of the strengths of the Philippines is being the premier provider of seafarers in the whole international fleet. The conveners of MMP, the Movement for Maritime Philippines, came together in 2016. Just a little history. At the time of the national elections for presidential elections, we invited all the presidentiables. Only Mayor Duterte, we went to Davao, who accepted the invitation.
Really?
Never to realize that he became the president. So, God is good. So, in short, just move forward.
But do you think, ma'am, is there going to be a continuity from his vision? Do you think the current administration will also adopt those policies or initiatives coming from the initiatives of the previous administration?
Well, definitely yes. Because like what I mentioned, the PDP or the Medium-Term Development Plan of the current administration of President Marcos already carries that. It's the maritime industry to be strengthened. And of course, with the DOST Pagtanaw 2050, there's already the mention of blue economy. So we have to maximize all of this. So we see this as a continuing efforts. So this event here really would want to put together, it's actually another area of flag states and shipbuilders convention. Where is the Philippines? Yan ang napakalaking tanong. Because from more than 100 ships that are registered in the Philippines before, now it's down to 98.
From 100?
Yeah, I think 150, if I'm not mistaken.
What is that figure?
Ships that are registered in the Philippines.
Okay. And now it's down to?
98.
98 ships that are registered. Meaning, there's a decrease in terms of the... what's the impact of that? Meaning we're not building ships...
We're not as competitive as the rest of the other nations. We are not that strong enough to have other ships registered under the Philippine flag. Okay, and then together with, kasi very technical yan. And then together with that is the ship registry. So parang ano yan, LTO.
So
kanino ka nagpaparehistro? So these are international ships.
I see.
Yes.
So mahina yung Philippine
so
registry.
the top, top
and these are
actually right now, and for the ship registry are actually three countries that are represented here. So very interesting. These are Panama, Marshall Islands, and Liberia. The whole point is, what is it for us? Yes, we're no longer number one in the, of course, but we are the premier provider of seafarers in the whole world.
But in terms of registry, yun nga sinasabi mo bumababa. Pero ano ang nawawala sa atin pag hindi sa atin nagpaparegister?
Well, malaking opportunities na nawawala kapag hindi registered. Because ang responsibility kapag ikaw ay kung ikaw isang flag state, actually meron naman tayo, no? We're 98. Pero mas marami kasi yung iba. Actually, that's good business for the Philippines if we can only do that. And remember...
So, ibig sabihin, we can provide more seafarers. Pag registered sa atin, we can...
Yes, of course. There's a lot more that we can have. But, marami rin kasing kasabayan. We have to strengthen our infrastructures, our ports.
Yeah.
The port situation is not that good.
So, ang daming sanga-sanga na. Which leads me to...
Which leads us now to sinasabi natin.
And you mentioned earlier, ma'am, na parang marami ding problema. If you can cite at least three, kahit yung three issues.
Which issues?
Three problems na nakikita mo na major ng maritime industry. Ano yun?
Actually, number one really that I see, the MMP really formed ourselves. We're different associations. What we see is we need to mainstream maritime industry in the Philippines. Okay, one big question is we are not even if we are a maritime and archipelagic country, the agenda does not speak well of the programs and the plans as a maritime nation. Okay? Wala pa po ng appreciation kasi napaka-technical eh. Sino ba nakakaintindi ng flood state, ng ship registry? Aaralin mo yan. And who are we talking about? We're talking about the legislators. They speak about seafarers. It's so easy to talk about seafarers because...
But in terms of providing them...
of the hardware, which is the ship, sabi nga ni Attorney Brenda kanina, napakaganda. Sabi niya, there are seafarers because there are ships. Correct? It's not the other way around. But in the Philippines, we have so many seafarers, but we have less ships. I mean, under the flood state concept. Okay? And even if you talk about connectivity within, coastal, from where are you? I'm from Bicol.
I'm from Pangasinan.
Pangasinan, medyo landmass,
yes.
Pero when you go to coastal communities like Bicol, no, it's an island province.
Yes.
Diba? We are supposed to be connected very well through boats, through ships. Pero nasaan po ang mga barko doon? So how do people move? So that is where you connect even the economic development down the line. So that's what we're saying. It's number one, you have to mainstream. Even legislators, executive officials should understand how important it is. And that is where shipbuilding, ship repair comes in. From mariners in Legazpi, we actually contribute very good officers to the industry. But they go outside. They go to international fleets. Tanungin mo, do they serve the domestic shipping? Kawawa po. Domestic shipping industry needs to be supported as well. Because when you talk of movement of goods, movement of people in a maritime country, you need ships. Seafarers cannot serve, diba, without ships. And these are not just ships, these are quality ships. Number two, another thing, do we have a strong steel industry? Wala po. We all need both from public and private sectors to mainstream maritime. Awareness should be there about maritime industry because we are a maritime country. Huwag po natin kalimutan yan. Number two, we need champions for the industry. And with these legislators who were with us this morning and who will be coming in today, we would like them to be also made aware of not just seafarers' concerns. That has always been talked about. We want to talk about how we can really strengthen the maritime industry from ships to seafarers. So never forget the hardware because hardware plays a very critical role to complement the software needs. The software is the human resource, our seafarers.
It's the manpower.
But the seafarers, hindi lang din sila, marami po, shipbuilders, welders, marami po yan. Maritime education and training, even for logistics, lahat po yan, port facilities, but that has never been discussed. And it's too technical. In fact, ang challenge namin, let's make this really a more, an exercise that will attract more.
That's right.
Even students from the grade 1. Marine environment is also such a very important issue. Maybe it will also be good for NET 25 to also play its own role.
And we welcome that. As a matter of fact, this is really an eye-opener. I hope to see you again later on, ma'am, and we wish you the best. And of course, Open for Business is it's a program that really provides a lot of information and knowledge that we would want also our viewers to understand. And we will look forward to your presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Paano maiiwasan ang paglaki ng sunog? Gumamit ka ng Reynolds Max.
Nandito ako para tulungan ka, Sir Fernando. Meron kasi akong nakuhang tulong eh.
At sino naman yan?
Kung may tao man dyan na kaya mag-magic ng ebidensya, siya yon, sir.
Sa kanyang pagbabalik.
At bakit nandito ka?
Gusto ko rin na malayo rito. Pero hindi ako papayag na isama mo ang lahat sa paglubog mo.
Lumayas ka.
Nakakaawa ka.
Hustisya ba ang paglalabanan ng magkapatid?
Kapatid ko nga ba talaga? Magandang araw, magandang araw. Magandang araw, magandang araw. Any time of the day, it's super saya. Lalo na kung si Ara lagi mong kasama. Magandang araw, magandang araw.
International artists love Filipino fans for their passion and warm hospitality. The Philippine Arena is just a fitting place to meet and perform for them. According to the British consulting firm Buro Happold, the Philippine Arena symbolizes the people's endurance, strength, and indomitable spirit. Despite the calamities or natural disasters that we Filipinos face each year, we still find time to be entertained and witness musical performances to cheer us up in times of adversity. There is now a growing list of international artists who have performed at the Philippine Arena since it was inaugurated in 2014. There's Katy Perry, U2, Guns N' Roses, 17, Harry Styles, and Blackpink. In the last 4 months, the Philippine Arena has also served as the venue for major events like the PBA Commissioner's Cup 2023 Finals Game 7, the FIBA Asian Qualifier 6 window featuring home team Gilas Pilipinas. This proves that even after the COVID lockdowns, it remains as the go-to place for huge concerts, sports, and other important events not only for the Philippines but for our region and Asia. Through the years, improvements have been made to make the concert experience for fans better and easier. We now have the Philippine Arena exit. Organizers set up safe and convenient transportation options for commuters, and there's improved accessibility and communication. As for the artists, it really gets them even more hyped up hearing such a huge Filipino crowd singing their songs back to them. Members of Korean group 17 have expressed their positive feedback after their massive show last December. It's twice the fun, as they say, which is literally a concert that houses twice the size of Metro Manila's popular venues. Recognized by the Guinness World Records as the largest mixed-use indoor theater, the Philippine Arena can accommodate 55,000 fans, serving as a barometer too for an artist's popularity. The structure was also featured in the Discovery Channel documentary Man-Made Marvels Quake Proof. It is described as an enduring, record-breaking building in the face of some of the world's most dangerous and extreme environments. And this coming June 24, another international act will be coming to the Philippine Arena, and that is Bruno Mars performing live for you. I am Jasmine Agustin for Open for Business.
Open for Business is at the helm, constitutional amendments that will benefit the economy. The drive to amend the Constitution during the current administration's term is proving to be more successful than previous ones, probably because of the advantage and benefit that it will bring to the nation's recovering economy. Early in March, 301 lawmakers in the House of Representatives voted to pass on final reading a resolution calling for a constitutional convention to rewrite the economic provisions of the charter. Ayon sa Fitch Solutions, ang mga pagbabagong nakatuon sa pagpapalago ng mga negosyo ay magriresulta sa positibong epekto sa pangmatagalang growth forecast. Ang average real GDP growth ay kaya umanong pumalo sa 6.6% sa susunod na dekada kung lalong magbubukas ang ekonomiya sa mga dayuhang investor. Tinitingnan ng marami, lalo na ng mga eksperto, ang pagtuon ng mga pagbabago sa restriksyon pagdating sa foreign direct investments. Makakatulong kasi ito para isulong pa ang capital formation na may average na 23% ng domestic output ng bansa. Fitch is also positive that proposed changes will also boost domestic investment. While charter change is not a priority of President Bongbong Marcos, he has been clear and vocal about his plans to make the Philippines a go-to destination for foreign investors.
Abangan sa Counterpoint. Ano ba itong Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership? Ano ang may dudulot ng trade agreement na ito sa bansa? Makakasama ko si Department of Trade Industry Secretary Alfred Pascual. Lahat ng yan sa Counterpoint, Miyerkules alas 10:30 ng gabi dito sa Net 25.
The maritime industry is part and parcel of our lives. Its stakeholders, from the shipbuilding companies to our seafarers, are the unsung heroes of our economy, given their contribution to our GDP. It is high time that an exhibition such as the Flag State and Shipbuilders Convention and Expo Maritime Philippines to be in the forefront, to be the buoy to keep the industry relevant and be birthed. Kudos to the Worldwide Maritime Operations Company for this initiative, and we wish you continued success so that our businesses remain open. And with that, our quote of the week is from the 32nd U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He said, "To reach a port, we must sail, sail, not tie at anchor. Sail, not drift." Maraming salamat sa isa na namang oras na pagsama ninyo sa amin upang tunghayan ng isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan nyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us too on our Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25 TV. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines. Sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you are informed and open for business. Ito po si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.